Hey, come on up.
Everyone on next.
Next. Don't make me come out there and get you. Because I will. Hi.
I'm a huge fan of the Dragon Age Origins.
Nice.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite video games, and one of my favorite characters was Ogren. You know,
I love Auburn.
like the drunken dwarf that you voice.
Yes.
So, like before assuming that position as the blighter from Origimar, like what did you actually do just to immerse yourself in that character, like to become that? 'Cause I would think you're that kind of person, though.
I drank a lot. When you're walking into a video game, like I was saying before, I didn't know what I was doing until that day. I think I had auditioned for maybe 3 or 4 characters. When I walked into the booth, they gave me that character, and I just kind of had to make it up on the spot. They gave me a picture of him, they told me the basic context, and then gave me a script about that thick, and they said, go. And that's as much preparation as I had. And the only thing that I really had to do to tailor that character to become the way he became in the end was they kept saying, make him more drunk. And they actually wanted me to drink while I was doing the sessions. The only session I've ever done to do that. I didn't do that, but I made him sound pretty drunk through most of it. And he came up with some of the best lines I've ever had. My favorite being, fart me a lullaby. And what was the other one? They said, oh, misery, vomit, and malt liquor. Reminds me of home. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for playing. Be kind to nug humpers. Hi. You look awesome. Just move it down. It's okay. There you go. Spend it right down. There you go.
It's kind of a generic question, but I was wondering, what's your favorite role out of all the characters you voiced? And is there a role that you'd actually like to do that you haven't been offered yet?
My favorite role. Well, my favorite role is the role I'm working on this week, because it means I'm still employed. No, I don't choose favorites because they represent different parts of my brain, and all those characters have been rolling around in there somewhere my whole life. So if I choose one, the rest of them start fighting in my head, and it could just explode in a red mist. So I don't choose favorites like that. I don't think in terms of a favorite character. There's some that, of course, became benchmarks in my career, like Spike. So many other things came from Cowboy Bebop, not the least of which being Toonami. I think that's one of the Toonami fans here? Awesome. Yeah, well, Toonami, getting the part of Tom, these guys were fans of Cowboy Bebop, and it's one of the very few roles that I didn't have to audition for. So I was very grateful for that, and so Spike and Tom were very pivotal in my career. Other things like Wolverine, just because I'm a comic book fan, getting to play a character like Wolverine, every time I play him, I'm like an 8-year-old kid with a deep voice, you know, so really exciting to do that. And now, lately it's been Zeb from the new Star Wars Rebels. See this? Anybody know about Star Wars Rebels yet? Yeah, it's going to be an amazing show. For any Star Wars fans, this is going to be the closest thing to the original New Hope movie in terms of tone and that sort of thing. And I'll get to do a character like this with a, you know, sort of an interesting accent. And my favorite truly is the character I'm playing this week. I have to invest myself fully, and that's the other piece of information for you aspiring voice actors out there, is to invest yourself fully in whatever character it is, whether it's Soldier A, as Vic Mignogna glorified last year, or any character, any character, even if they've got one line, you have to invest as much into that character to bring it alive as you would a character that would be the leading role in a giant production. So that would be my favorite at the moment. And as far as characters that I haven't gotten to play, I don't think that way really. I'm so fortunate to have gotten to play so many characters as it is that I don't think about the characters I'm not playing. I just don't live my life that way. The closest thing to that would be maybe Batman, just because I feel like Batman's voice print is the closest to my natural speaking voice of any of the superheroes, maybe. And I got to play Batman as Lego Batman in the original version of that game, even though he was nonverbal. It was just, But I got to put it on my resume that I was Batman, and I got to buy a little Lego figure and put it up with all my other action figures. So it was enough for me. That just makes me happy. So I'm just grateful for what is, and I don't think about what isn't.
Yay.
Thank you. And I'm grateful for you. Hi. I love that energy.
Okay, so I'm a big fan of Call of Duty Zombies. I'm actually a content creator for a page of 456,000 likes currently.
Wow.
And my favorite characters are the Russian and the American, Time Dempsey. And I was wondering if you could do like 2 quotes for me.
Sure.
Reach for me, Jugger Girl.
What is it?
Reach for me, Jugger Girl.
Reach for me, Jugger Girl?
Yeah.
Reach for me, Jugger Girl! That's okay.
So, when they called you up for the position to voice Time Dempsey, what did you feel about picking up the role?
Oh, I was excited about it. I didn't know much about it. All they told me was that I was going to be a loud Marine kind of guy and yelling and killing zombies. And they had me at killing zombies, honestly, yeah. Keep calm and kill zombies, she says, yes. So who doesn't want to kill zombies? It was awesome, and the guys on that game are some of my best friends, too. And it's rare that you actually get to work in the same room on a video game. Usually they take us in separately, and on that game they actually brought us in together so we could play a lot, and we laughed a lot. So it was one of the best games I've ever worked on. And have you guys heard the Christmas album that we did?
Yes, I listen to every single one.
Yeah, it's called A Very Zombie Christmas. If you guys haven't heard it, go to YouTube and just type in A Very Zombie Christmas. And we did it as sort of a gift to you guys. We took traditional Christmas songs and one Hanukkah song, just for the German guy. And, and we made the songs all about zombies, and the whole thing was about slaughtering zombies to these lovely little Christmas carols. So it was kicked off of iTunes, and we got in really big trouble for doing it. But it's still out there if you guys want to listen to it, so check that out. Thank you. Hoorah. Oh, Jedi. Oh, Sith. Oh, I didn't see your colors. Sorry.
My question is more like a request. So I was wondering if you can do a mock battle between Wolverine and Amon from Avatar.
Wolverine and Amon.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Wow, that's really weird. I'm the best there is at what I do, but what I do isn't very nice. Okay, fine. I'll take away your bending. You've been purified. Thanks, bub. I feel better.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hi.
I got a question. Would it be cool if Spike and Vincent was having a duke-off?
Spike and Vincent would
Having a duke-off.
have a duke-off?
Yeah, like a fight.
Like they'd fight? Spike and Vincent. Wow. Spike and Vincent would probably just go out for a drink together. They're both so low-key, I don't think they'd find much to fight about. And Spike, I think, would just be trying to hear Vincent speak because he speaks so softly. You go, what? I said, do you have geostigma? What? I don't know, man. Is that something you left in the fridge? That's probably how it would go down, and then they go out and have a beer. I know you guys want to have everybody fight, but why can't we be peaceful? The world's too full of fighting right now. Good question, though. Thanks. Bang.
Hello again.
Hi.
I'm just wondering, do you ever have fun with your voices outside of work? Like when you order food or something?
Yeah, well, I have done that before, and it's gotten me in trouble. I've ordered, what did I order? I ordered a burger at McDonald's, I think, or one of those places, Carl's Jr., as, I think it was as Leron recently. And you know how bad the speakers are in those places? They just couldn't understand what I was saying, and they thought I was just being an idiot. So they just got mad at me. And the other time was in a toy store. Do you guys have Toys R Us here? Yeah. Well, back home, I was at a Toys R Us, and I was looking for an action figure. I think it might have been one of the Transformers things. And it was a Digimon. toy. I came up and I saw
A Guam toy, exactly. That's what it was. So I'm in that aisle.
I'm in the aisle looking at the Guillemon toys, and there's this little boy who's probably 5 years old, and he's got one in his hand, and he wants to get it. He's talking to his mom, and he's trying to convince her to get it. And I came up next to him, and I said,
You know, I do his voice on TV.
and the little boy just goes, started crying, and the mother looks at me, and she goes, what did you say to him? Wait for my son. And I thought she was going to call security, and I just wanted to say hi and tell him that I did the voice of the toy. So it doesn't go over well in the real world. Here it sounds fine in context, but I go out in the real world and people just get really uncomfortable. So I don't do it that much. Thank you.
Just gotta find the right way.
Aw, gentlemen.
Ladies first.
Give a hand to the gentleman. Yes. Chivalry is not dead, yes. Okay. Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Good. Do you do anything to like get into like acting for like a character? Do you do anything like just kind of like strange to get into the character you're trying to perform as?
Oh, I do lots of strange things. It's usually not for character specifically, but just to warm up my voice, which I would suggest all of you aspiring voice actors do, warm up before you go to a session. But that's where I do my weirdest stuff, is in the car. I do vocal exercises. So I'll do like warm-ups for the muscles around the mouth, and it's just basically vowel sounds. So I'll go A, E, I, O, ooh, and just stretch it out as far as I can, or it looks really stupid, but it actually warms up the whole mouth. Or for commercials, I'll do things like available for limited time only, participating dealers, terms, conditions, and restrictions apply. That sort of thing. And I just do that in the car, and people think I'm out of my mind. But when I get to the studio, I kind of have to be ready to go and ready to do anything, because most of the time we don't have any preparation at all. So, usually they'll just show me a picture of the character and then throw a script in front of me, and we're off and running. And it's that fast. It's not like in film or TV where you have weeks or months to prepare for a character. We just have to pull it right out in that moment. So, there are some exceptions. There are things like in the shows like Transformers, the bigger shows, or now Star Wars, those kinds of things, where we'll get the script maybe 2 or 3 days beforehand. And before we started working on the whole show, we sat around a big table and we sort of figured out what we were going to do. But that's really the only kind of preparation that we ever get as voice actors. So you have to be, that's why I'm saying improv is really important. You have to be able to pull it out really quickly.
Can I also hear your Orochimaru voice?
Orochimaru, yes. Welcome to my village. Where's Sasuke? Thank you.
The gentleman.
Hey, how are you?
With yourself?
Very well, thank you.
Cool. Well, you're doing some pretty big things. As mentioned before, Cowboy Bebop, pretty universal. Mass Effect, one of the biggest game franchises of the game generation. Right.
Iron Krogan.
So, like, when you look at a script, do you feel that out? Like, this is like a huge deal. I want to be a part of this. But you just kind of, what do you look into when you read a script?
Well, that's a really good question. Most of the time I don't even know what the game is, and especially on big video games like that, they'll have a code name for it, and we'll go in without knowing. We have to sign what they call a non-disclosure agreement. So if we do figure it out, we're not allowed to talk about it. So getting really excited about something like that can actually work against your performance. So I treat everything equally. Otherwise it would just freak me out, and I just get nervous by the enormity of it. Star Wars was one of those things where I didn't know what the show was until I actually started working on it. And when we auditioned for that show, we did it under a different title completely. They just called it Wolf. And the characters had different names. They didn't have any references to Star Wars stuff. And I got the call when I was in England for a convention, went to the studio out in the middle of nowhere, and I'm starting to read the script with these guys over the phone. We did this phone patch back to Northern California. And I start reading in the script, and I'm saying, wait a second, there's stormtroopers in here, there's a Jedi, this is Star Wars. And they're going, yeah, you didn't know that? And I said, this is Star Wars! And I actually had to take a moment and breathe so that I could perform like all the other shows. But being a fan of that franchise kind of threw me for a second. So it's better that we don't know in most cases. That's a really good question, because it's very easy to get lost in that. Thank you. And I didn't know for Cowboy Bebop either. I didn't know how big Cowboy Bebop was going to be. None of us did. So made it a lot easier not knowing. Okay, come on up. Who's next? Hello.
I don't know.
It's okay. Come on, we're just family here. It's good.
I wanted to know how you got into voice acting.
How I got into voice acting?
Yeah.
I got in the most bass-backwards way you can imagine. I was working as a driver and a mailroom clerk for a low-budget film company. Do you guys know a company called Full Moon Entertainment? We made it Reanimator and Ghoulies and some of those movies. It's before your time. You're young. It's all right. Anyway, we made low-budget sci-fi monster movies. Puppet Master, a lot of those types of films. And I was working in the mailroom, and I was a musician during my normal working hours. And the guy who was the head of the mailroom was casting this Japanimation project called The Guyver. And you guys know The Guyver? Yeah. Nice, good, cool. And so he said, well, I need a guy who's got a really deep voice who can do a creature and match the lip flaps. And you've got the deepest voice in the mailroom, so you want to come in on a weekend, and I'll pay you $7 a line if you get the job, and I'll feed you free breakfast and lunch. And being a starving musician, all I heard was free breakfast and lunch. So, so it works, right? So I go to the studio, which was in a treehouse. It was called The Cave, and it was built into the side of a hillside in a tree. And so he carved out part of this hillside, and part of it was attached to the tree, and he builds this treehouse, and there's a studio for his band, and this crazy rock and roll guy. And I go up into the studio, and I just come up to the microphone, and they said, all right, this is the creature. They showed me the image on the screen, and they said, look, can you do the creature voice? And so I just went, something like that. I don't know what it was. It was a zoonoid, this creature called a zoonoid. Excuse me. And then I had to pretend I was grabbing his arm, ripping it off, and then beating him with it, something like that. So that was my audition for the thing, and I got the role, and they said, okay, you're working today. We'll see how it goes. The next day they called me back in, and then the next week they called me back in, and then eventually they gave me the part of the main bad guy on that show. It was Guyver 3, and Agito was his name. And did 26 episodes of that show just for fun. I was just doing it on the weekend for fun, didn't make much money at it. And that company became one of the main companies in town, and they kept hiring me for other jobs. So I just worked for them for many years, just for fun. I never expected to make a career out of it. The money was never good. And even when we started doing things like Cowboy Bebop, I made less on 26 episodes of that show than I made on one episode of Legend of Korra. So, and there's no residuals. I mean, it's not something that I thought I was going to make a business out of. So I just kept doing it for all those years until I really learned how to act. And I stole from all my friends. I would just go into the studio, I'd watch what they were doing and copy it, and then just kind of put it into my mental bag of tricks. And then, many, many years later, when I was 40 years old, I finally booked a 7-Eleven commercial and quit my job and started doing voiceover full time. But I would always have 2 or 3 other jobs to support that all those years. So, you're welcome. You've been purified. Aww. Yes. Hi. It's okay, baby.
My favorite Digimon is Guam.
It's
No contest. I love that guy. How could it be better than that?
The Metal Greymon.
what was that?
It's the Metal Greymon.
Metal Greymon. I don't.
Black Greymon.
Blackboard Greymon? Oh, I don't remember what he sounded like. I think he was sort of like me, but deeper. I don't know. Blackboard Greymon, Digivolve 2, something like that. I don't know.
Gormon! I don't know.
I honestly don't remember. It was so long ago. I remember, what was that other one? The Fire of Courage. Oh, Raydramon, that was the other one though. Raydramon, he was the one that sort of looked like a armadillo or something, I don't know what he was. Flamedramon, that was the other one. Flamedramon, the fire of courage. He was fun too. He was my first Digimon. That's it? Okay.
Thank you. It's Gentleman-mon. Hi.
Hi. I like the villain you played on Wolf's Reign too. I forgot his name.
Lord Darsha.
Yeah, Lord
Yes.
Dasha. He was awesome.
Yes.
But could you please do an impersonation of Arnold Schwarzenegger?
I don't do a very good Arnold, sorry. I'm not really an impressionist, you know. I don't do that kind of thing. Get to the chopper.
I'm not. That's not one of my strong suits. Other people. My girlfriend actually does a much better impersonation of him than I do. So yeah, everybody in Hollywood does a better impersonation than I do. But thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi.
Okay, so you played Wolverine, you played even Green Arrow, you want to play Batman, you even played a villain on Young Justice, so what other comic character would you hope to play?
Oh man, I don't know. I've gotten to play so many of them. I mean, Batman would probably be the only one that I would even think of doing. What was that other one? There's, oh man, I don't know. There's so many from the Marvel universe, but usually it's the really weird ones, like Paste Pot Pete. I mean, really strange characters. I got to play Rocket Raccoon recently. Have you guys seen Guardians? Yeah. I got to play Rocket in the video games. That was really fun for me.
Just a New York kind of guy, that crazy kind of frenetic kind of mentality where he just can't sit still and hates everybody. That was kind of fun.
I like the guys who are really weird. Honestly, that's more fun for me than the real, stoic villains.
You got to propose to Black Canary.
That's true. That's true. Thank you. Thank you. Hey.
I was wondering, how do you make a demo reel?
How do you make a demo reel? Well, the best advice I could give you for making a demo reel is to go to a professional demo reel guy or girl who actually has a studio, can actually mix it properly for you. What I would suggest doing before you get to that point is take acting classes, take improv classes, get your acting together, and get your characters together. I would suggest getting 50 to 75 really good, strong characters together, condensing it down to maybe 15, 20 of your best at most, and then record them yourself over and over again. If you have a little, recording device, just do it over and over again until you get them really, really clean, and get some good copy to work with, something that's interesting or funny, different than what you've heard before. The other thing I would suggest is going to voicebank.com. And VoiceBank is a online location where all of the best working voice actors in the industry have their reels up with their agencies. And so listen to their reels and listen very closely to how they construct their reels and the types of voices that they put on there. They specialize in commercial or animation or video games, those types of things. And there's a different type of reel for each one of those. So make sure that you tailor it to that type of thing. Keep it to 2 minutes at the very most. Make a 1-minute version also. But once you're ready for that, and I can't stress this enough, don't spend the money on having a professional reel done until it's really ready to go. Until you've been through acting classes, you get a professional voice coach to take a listen to it, to give you some advice on it, and make sure that you're going in the right direction. Because the thing I hate more than anything is to hear that new actors are spending $1,500 or $2,000 on a voice reel that is useless in the real world. And you have to remember that you're also going into a market where you're competing against the best in the world. And so it has to be on that level from the first time out. So make sure that you do all of your prep work before you get to that point. But all of that is actually, again, if you go to my website and go to D. Bradley Baker's blog, it's iwannabeavoiceactor.com. He tells you step by step how to go through that. There's also a book by Yuri Lowenthal and Tara Platt, two really great voice actors and very good friends of mine who wrote this book called Voiceover Voice Actor. It's not very expensive, it's a little paperback book, but it also shows you step by step on how to do that. So Take your time, though. Do it right.
Can you do a line from Legend of Korra?
From Legend of Korra? Let me see. I might have something written down. I'm on the spot here. You know, this will be actually more fun. I'm on a quest for reality. No, wait. I'm on a quest for equality. I'm on a tight schedule. Favorite desserts? Chocolate almonds. I'm unable to answer that last question. Can I get an almond, somebody? Benders hate the first day of the week. Why? Because it's a Monday. Favorite high-stakes game? A Monopoly. I'm experiencing a Monjoy. Favorite part of a movie? A montage. That's all I got. Thank you. And you've been purified. The revolution has begun. Hi. That's better. Hi.
I watched Cowboy Bebop for a long time, and I was wondering, what's your favorite scene when you played as Spike?
Ooh, man, so many fun scenes in that show. Wow, there were some really great ones. Actually, one of my favorite scenes with Spike was a non-verbal one. It was in Mushroom Samba when he's walking up the stairs, and it's just the visual of him walking up the stairs one step at a time. But probably the most memorable one for me was when he was in the movie in the jail cell opposite Elektra, and he's having that deep, heartfelt conversation with her, and it was just such a departure from what Spike normally does. It was probably the hardest scene that I've ever done. And the other one that I loved was in the beginning of that movie when he walks in and I guess he goes through the guard at the opening to that liquor store, and there's a guy hiding in the bathroom. You guys remember that? And he screams at Jet, and I probably can't do it here because there's a cuss word involved and there's kids here, so I know. I know. But the Art of Warcraft, exactly. That was exactly it. So that was one of my favorite scenes. And then there was also another one where he was saying to Jet something about I killed the microphone. Okay. Something about kids, dogs, and women with attitudes. So tell me, Jet, why do we have all three of them neatly gathered on our ship? That was one of my favorite lines of his, too. And I love the kind of woman that can kick my ass. Thank you. Wow, show them. Look at that. Woo! Beautiful. Very nice. Nice artwork. What time is it?
Adventure time!
Hi there.
Hi.
When you joined Toonami as Tom, did you find you were inspired by the other voice actors when you all worked together? And how did you feel when Toonami had to call it quits the first time?
Oh man, well Tom, I recorded that alone. That was a very lonely existence, and it still is. I recorded Tom in a recording booth in Burbank, and the guys were in Atlanta, Georgia, and so everything was over the phone. And even now, I record at home. I have a home studio, and so I do it at home, usually in shorts and a t-shirt, and the guys are in Atlanta, and we do it over the phone still. So I didn't really get to work with the other voice actors. And in fact, I've only seen the guys from Atlanta maybe 3 or 4 times and in all of these years because we're so far apart. So it's not as much fun as it would be if they were in the same room. They're a bunch of really great, super creative guys, and especially when I'm doing like the video game reviews and stuff, half the time they're playing the game on the phone. I can just hear the fingers clacking away, you know, on the keyboard or on the controller. And they're just making up stuff as they go along. So I would love to be more a part of that process. But I love it. I mean, I love playing Tom, and thanks to you guys, we got it back on the air. So, is anybody staying up late watching Toonami still? Sweet. Nice. Only Toonami on Adult Swim. Cool. Stay gold. Look at Jabba. Nice.
Jedi.
Wow, that is awesome. I have to take a picture of this too. Very nice.
As the Steve Blum signed the microphone.
Okay. I actually understood that, and I will do that. Oh my God, that is hilarious. All right, I gotta do this. Let me see if I have it. Oh, you have a Sharpie ready? An extra large Sharpie, of course. Okay. There it is. Thank you. Thank you, Kevin. All right. Well, that's a first. I just wonder what that porthole was for. If you see the little frog thing come out of there, run. Come on up. Who's next? Yeah, I know. We are all in awe of Jabba. That is amazing. Wow. Hi. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We broke it. Let's plug in Jabba's mic.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I'm a big fan of Samurai Champloo.
Oh, nice.
And I want to say, like, playing like a vulgar character like Mugen, which is like totally different from mostly what you've been playing.
Right.
I was just wondering if you could say like a line from him. But you know, like, because his lines were mostly vulgar in this picture.
His lines were mostly vulgar.
Yeah.
And the only thing I remember is him always looking for dumplings. So I don't know if most things I have written down, I actually have a cheat sheet here. And I don't think that I put anything down for him. Let me see, maybe I do. If you can remember a line, I can repeat it, but no, I don't have anything for Mugen. Yeah, all I remember is got dumplings. He's always hungry.
I don't think you can shout out, you bastards.
Did I say that?
Can you say bastards?
You bastards!
Thank you.
Okay, tis con, why not? Oh, Deadpool, again.
Hey, can I just do like a little video? I'm gonna poke your face and you just do Logan.
What was that?
I'm just gonna poke your face and just do whatever line you come out as Logan. Yeah.
You're gonna poke my face?
Yeah, it's just
Oh, okay.
it's just like record like Logan or whatever. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Here we go. I'm gonna get my face poked. This is gonna end up on YouTube.